Welcome back, Fig here. I wanted to show you some of the progress I've made. Right now we're down in the catacombs, and I just wanted to give you a refresher of what we had so far before I show you what else we've got. So you may recall that there were some mazes. You know, you end up here, like a maze-like labyrinth of the catacombs, right? You end up here, and you've gone to these 4 different rooms at various points and seen this room down below. And you're stuck on this floor. You want to get down there. You know, it's like what's down there. So then coming out of here, there's this. You solve this puzzle room, and when you're done with that, this opens. You can flick that lever. That set of stairs opens up for you. And then you come down here. There's going to be who knows what here to connect these. This is sort of how I'm building the catacombs, by the way. Like, I'll come up with an idea for a section or a room or something, and I'll build it, and then I'll just have this space in between. I'm like, I need to connect that. So I could either create like a really easy hallway, or I could add another puzzle room in between, and I could actually use all this space here, but I don't know. I'll just have to see how it feels, whether we should add another puzzle or not. But anyway, you'll end up coming out of there, going in here. Obviously, the only thing you can do is open this south. Interesting. Open that. This piston door opens. Then you come in here, and boom. Now we're down in this room that we've seen at least 4 times. So this gives the player that little feeling of familiarity. Also, we've got these wooden doors here. We've got the iron door here. Seems to be connected to this chest, and we've got this. Now, I don't know if the player is going to immediately realize that they should put this in here, and if they don't, it's not really a big deal. I think they'll figure it out at some point later, but let's just put something wrong in there. Alright, so we put that in there, and it takes a little bit, but eventually we'll get this. Incorrect item return. So if they put the wrong item in there, and you can see it closes back up after it's empty. If they put the wrong item in that chest, it'll pop back here. So the player's not going to have a whole bunch of extraneous items. They might have like clues and stuff like that, and probably like food, because they will be in adventure mode, so we'll have to provide food, which is cool, because that could be like a little reward you can put in different places. But anyway, if they put something wrong in there, just testing it out, they don't lose anything. There's no failure in testing. So that'll open, they could get it back. But if they put in the correct thing, boop, it opens up there. And, the idea here is that if they open all 4 of those, that door will open and they could, move on. So this is sort of a puzzle room hub. So we've got these 3 wooden doors which they can open, and they can go in and try to figure out the puzzle. And I tried to do them all 3 slightly different styles, so it's not all just the same thing. And like I said, there's going to be different points in the escape room where you're going to get a piece of paper with a clue on it or something like that. And you may not know what it does, but in this case, I want the player to have previously picked up a clue that says, in the room with the decoder ring, do buttons before levers. And basically that's a little bit of feedback from this puzzle, because people were confused. I had a couple people play test it. I've got a couple more to try out to see what they think, but people were confused about exactly what needs to happen. It didn't ruin the puzzle, and they eventually figured it out, but I don't think it would hurt to give them a little clue. Especially, they didn't realize this was a decoder ring, which is my whole idea for this room. Was I wanted to have a decoder ring. Like when it's cereal boxes when you're a kid, and like Spies have or whatever, and then you like twist around one little circle and another circle, and you line it up a certain way, and then it reveals something else. That's the idea here. So these are just piston feed tapes, 3 different ones. I put this water. By the way, all 3 of these puzzle rooms went through a lot of iteration. So I had an idea, I built it, and I just kept tweaking it and making it better and better and better, and hopefully. They're decent now, but I have these little channels of water going around to kind of illustrate that that's the inner ring, outer ring. You've got these buttons on the wall, and if we push inner ring, you may not be able to see that. We'll see outer ring. boop, boop. But it just pushes the entire ring along. So if you look over here, that's black, and then we push it again, and it's red. And now these feed tapes, I think I did pretty good at it because they're very quick. You know, like I push that, and it happens. You don't have to wait. There's no delay. You know, obviously you can push all three of these, and they all three work before I could even turn around to see them. But the idea here, spoiler, the way to solve the puzzle is we need black here. So I've got these black wool here to hopefully get them, you know, once they see that there's black in here, they're like, okay, maybe I should get black across here. So the inner ring is fine. These two are both pink. That one's black, so we need just the outer ring. There we go. And once you have all three of these here, then these are the colors you need to flip on the wall. Red, green, orange. And that'll open up. Oops, I fell. If you have the incorrect one, that'll close back up. So you have to have the right ones and only the right ones in order to open this and take this. Which, if you've already put the blue torch in that chest there, you'll immediately know, oh, this needs to go in there too. If you haven't, you might start to pick up on the clue. Like, you could go do all three rooms and have all four in your inventory before you realize you should put them in that chest. Or, you know, you just don't feel like putting it in the chest yet. But yeah, so one thing about this room, when people play tested it, they kept coming over here and flicking the levers. They thought, for some reason, that whatever color was here, they should flick here. But it doesn't actually hurt the puzzle in any way. There's nothing bad that happens, so it's not something that needs to change. I don't want to encourage it, but you know, I don't need to discourage it. And they eventually figured out, oh, this needs to be black, then these are the colors. And I did originally have shroom lights here to like light it up so you can see it better and draw attention to it. And I use that a lot. Like here, I have a shroom light there, which kind of illuminates this, hopefully draws your eye to it, and, you know, says, hey, I want to get in there. But the problem was, because shroom lights are orange, having them in here, they thought that they needed to line up orange in all of these spots rather than the black. Or they thought, do the black, okay, but how do I get black and orange? And that just doesn't work. Yeah, I guess I could show you the behind the scenes of this guy. I won't go into too much crazy detail, but basically those buttons come down here. They feed into the piston feed tape. It looks kind of complicated just because it's a tight space, but you can see this wool coloring going around. And I actually have multiple blacks because I didn't want, you know, this outer ring is, you know, a lot of blocks. It's like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So in the four sides, that's like 36. Yeah, somewhere between 36 and 40 blocks are on this outer ring. And I didn't want that player to have to press the button potentially, you know, 35 times if the black's there, just to get all the way back around and back to its spot. So what I did was periodically I have another black one, and when those line up here, I just had to make sure that the correct color, which in this case is, I believe, green, here? Yeah. Then I had to make sure that the one under the glass was the correct color. So I would just set it black, set that green, move it a couple times, put another black there, put a green there. That way the player can get any of those correct, any of the black ones in there, and be able to do the puzzle. They don't have to wait, you know, press it a bunch of times, because I think that would be frustrating. But this is basically the decoder ring aspect of it. So that's not too complicated really if you know how to do a piston feed tape. Over here, we have these switches. The other thing is, when I first did this, I didn't have these lights here. So the levers, you just had to look at the lever and say, is it up and down? And I thought the lamp adds a lot of feedback, so the player can tell what's on and off a lot easier. It's just better. Anyway, so there are certain ones that the player needs to select and ones that they don't. So for all the ones they don't, like purple and pink, are incorrect. So you have this excuse me, you have these repeaters coming out of it. If this was just redstone, then whenever they turn on the pink, it would also turn on the light for the purple. And it would turn on all the incorrect ones. So you could see, by turning on one wrong one, what all the wrong ones are. And that's obviously not what I want. So let me put that back. So the repeater just keeps the redstone going this direction and not feeding back into the wall. So all of these are connected together. The yellow, the purple, the pink, the cyan or whatever it is, and the brown. And they all connect. And if any of them are on, then the redstone torch here will turn off. And it needs to be on for this AND gate to have an on output. So pretty simple. This AND gate says if they haven't pushed any wrong ones and they've done the red one, then we'll say yes. And this one says if they've done the green one and orange one, then yes. And this one says if both those conditions are met, then yes. Comes over here. And it comes through here. And this is a new thing that I just learned, which is really cool. Is there anything over here? Am I going to destroy everybody by doing this? Nope, nothing there. Okay. An observer. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, I don't really want to mess with stuff, but... Sorry, don't know how much space. There's always stuff everywhere. Okay. So, this is an edge detector. So, with redstone, you have, when it turns on, that's a rising edge, and when it turns off, that's a falling edge. And back in the day, this used to be a lot more complicated, but since they've added observers, and I never realized that this changed the game for us in this way, but observers make it way easier to make a rising or falling edge detector. So the idea is that whenever they solve this puzzle, I want something to happen. And in this case, it's just those pistons. Like, maybe I can go in there and show you. This glass in front of the barrel needs to move out of the way. So what happens is, let's solve the puzzle. That piston, that's a sticky piston up there with a block. It pushes down the glass block and the shroom light, and then it retracts the block, leaving the space open so that you can open the barrel. Then when you get it incorrect, there's a normal piston, not sticky piston, at the bottom that just pushes the shroom light and the glass back up, filling it back in. Boop. So you can see that in either case, whether it's being turned on or off, whether you're getting it right or wrong, it needs to do a different thing. So one of them needs to power the sticky piston, and one of them needs to power the normal piston. And so that's why we have a rising and falling edge detector here. And the way it works is you have a sticky piston with an observer, and when this gets power, the piston will extend, the observer will move, and then put out a redstone signal, and it'll detect it. But it's a quick signal, so it doesn't stay on. So, I don't know if I can see this, but boop. So you saw a really quick little pulse there on the rising edge. Now, if we wanted this to be a falling edge detector, we would have redstone there, and when this comes back, when it turns, when the signal turns off, then it puts out a pulse. But you can see here, since it's a rising edge detector or falling edge detector, when I turn this on, there was no pulse there because it moves and then it does a pulse. So when I turn this off, red. When I turn it on, nothing. So that's the basic concept, and you can see that here. I've got this observer is a falling edge detector. When this goes off, when they've no longer solved the puzzle, this piston will push the stuff up, and when they have solved the puzzle, this rising edge detector will open the thing. I think that's about it. Hopefully, I said this a lot, but hopefully that all makes sense. And yeah, that's the puzzle. Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But hey, yeah, we solved it. Yay, we got the thing. And come over here, and we can throw in east. Bada bing. Now we've got two open. We've got to get the other two. Okay, this one. This one has a lot packed in here, actually. My thought was I wanted to design a room where you have to do stuff based on the music. So there would be a beat, and then on the beat you have to do something. So we turn on this lever, and you can see it starts keeping track of the beat. So you can hear the music. And it's ascending, so hopefully, it's pretty clear that when it gets to that, that's when you want to do something. This wall pushes out on that fourth beat. Now, it doesn't do it exactly on the fourth beat, because if it did, then your actions wouldn't really work out. So it took a lot of work to get this timing right. But let's see. So this is going, I can come over here, fall in this pit, then I can come over here, and on the beat, oh man, I'm in creative mode, so I accidentally flew. Let me just... But you can come up here, on the beat, jump, and if you don't realize that, there's a little sign there that says jump on the beat. But what you do here is you just jump on the beat, and then you need to jump up on that. It helps if you like sprint into it. Dang it. Let me get out of creative mode, because that really messes up my thing. Let's see, adventure. Yes. Here I am, adventure mode. Oh, no, I don't want to. Oh, that hurt. Okay, so here I am. I'm holding... Aww. Yeah, when you fall, you land in water, because I don't want you to get hurt, because that would be really annoying if you died or got seriously hurt while you're trying to do this puzzle, and you wouldn't want to keep trying it. So then I have this little walkway here, so you can easily come on here and get back up quicker. It used to be that was all water, and I added the path to make it a little better. And you can also optionally turn this off, and after the fourth beat, it'll turn off. If you wanted to leave the room and go, let's say I was like, that's too hard, let me go do a different puzzle, and I'll come back to it later. And then you can come back and turn it back on. And it'll just, start back up again. Now, additionally, you may have noticed that this opened up. So what I have going on is every so many times that this hits 4, every time it hits 4, a counter goes off. And I can change the amount of items in it, and so after a certain amount of time of cycles, it'll open this and allow you the option of assist mode. I wanted the player to have something that could make it easier if they're struggling with it, but I didn't want to force it on them. I didn't want to have something where it happens and they can't undo it. So for some players, they may say, yeah, that's all well and good, thanks for the assist mode, but I want to do it on my own, and they will refuse to use it. But yeah, you can flick it. You can see what it does is it just adds these 2 little spots here that don't retract. So you can, hopefully do it easier. You can turn that back off. So you have the choice of assist mode. And like I said, this happens after a certain amount of clock cycles there. So let's see if it makes it easier. Okay. And like I said, that jumping, so I'm jumping on the beat, which means that those pistons have to extend slightly after the beat, so that if I jump on the beat, they don't push me off. Because that was really annoying, thinking you have the timing, and then it doesn't work. Oh, I messed it up. Okay, I guess just to prove to you that this is possible, I need to actually do it. Hopefully this doesn't take forever. Okay, we're gonna get rid of assist mode. Because I think I'm better with it. Okay, alright, here we go. That was almost too quick. Then, when you grab this, you're rewarded with a cool little animation. All the lights turn on, the pistons stop, the music stops, and you're good to go. Now, the reason I added that ladder is because when this happens, if you fall down into this water, that's blocking the stairs. So now, there's a ladder so you can get up. But anyway, triumphantly, you walk across here and you're like, I got the thing. Bada bada bing. And we can throw this in here. And this one takes a second longer. There we go. So I'm going to show you how this one works. Game mode, creative. Okay. So, the basic sort of core of it is this little cycle here, where you've got the notes. So, like, this is going to be a note and a sort of a drum noise. This one we wanted to be more in. I don't know why I said we. I wanted it to be more emphatic, so you knew on the fourth beat you jump. And originally I just was like da 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 da, or I don't know. I don't know what I was doing, but then I sort of developed it into da 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 ba, so that you would hear the ascension, and when you got to the fourth one, it just nobody struggled with it so far. It's just very clear that you jump on the beat. Like it's clear what's going on there. So when you flick the lever, it turns it on if a certain other condition is met. So, well, let's see. Yeah, so this comparator says if something's in this barrel. So if the item is still in the barrel, the lantern, you haven't grabbed it yet. So if that's in there and they turn it on, then yes, let's go ahead and turn it on. So this is why it's, well, is there something else I have that stops it? We'll go over this and we'll see. But when this turns on, it does two things. One of them is this, and this is a rising edge detector, so when it first turns on, this quickly puts a signal into the circuit, which jump starts it. You can't have an on signal going in here because once the redstone's pulse or whatever propagated through the entire circuit, it would just lock the entire thing on and it would be useless. So you need just a quick pulse to get it started. And the other thing, yes, this is the part that turns off. Whenever you grab the item, this AND gate is in its current state, and this piston down here retracts, but when it's turned on, this block comes out here, which completes the circuit, allowing the redstone to go through. So this is why after the fourth beat, which is here, if this block is pulled back because they've grabbed the item, it just won't, or turn off the lever, it just won't keep going. It'll stop right here. That's that sort of thing. You've got your pistons here, stick out of the wall. So these ones down here, they're all in this timer, and this feeds off of the beat. So we've got certain delays to make sure the timing gets in there correctly. And then we also have this up here, which this comes from your little assist mode. So if this is assist mode's turned on, these will just power those pistons and keep them out. What's this one do? Oh yeah, so also coming off of the cycle of noise, we have redstone that feeds into the lights. So you can see like here would power that light. The problem is, because of the way I had hooked it up, the first two beats, da, da, wouldn't have a light, and then it was like da, and the third light would be on. So I added just this temporary rising edge detector that allows the first one and the second one to go on, rather than just the third and fourth one. That may not make sense, but it's not really important to understand. Just you build a circuit and you're like, how do I make this part work? And you might have to add in weird stuff, but you got these cool tools to add. The other thing here is this line is what comes from the comparator. So if there's an item in there, these torches will be off. So as soon as the item comes out, these come on and all the lights get put on. I think that's it for that. This right here, let's see. This is obviously the pistons that push out the little walkway that you can get back. So it's just got a delay, a little more delay for everyone, which gives it that cool animation. And this is coming from here. Same way those work. this part, sorry, it's been a minute since I built this. Oh, here we go. So this right here is what puts the light on the fourth beat. And so every time that fourth beat happens, it's going to temporarily turn off this redstone torch, which is currently locking this hopper. So to reset this, you flick this lever, and I don't know if you saw that down there, but those pistons extended, so now they can't see assist mode. Boop. We turn that back on. And yeah, so right now I have 20 filler items here. So when all 20 of these go through into here, then that comparator will say, hey, it's empty, open the thing, allow them to choose assist mode. So I could change this to any amount I want. I had this higher at first, and I thought, well, that's crazy. And then I dropped it lower, and I thought, I don't want the player to get too frustrated. So that's one of those things I've got to experiment with when someone play tests it. You know, I don't want them to fail so much that they're like, I hate this puzzle, I quit. I want that to pop up right before they get too frustrated, so they can see, oh, there's an option for assist mode. And then, like I said, they can turn it on and off to see if it helps. Yeah, I think that's basically this puzzle. Not sure if there's anything more to say about it. Obviously went through a lot of iterations, so I could talk about that, but I feel like I'm already being long-winded, so we'll just close that up. We got what we needed. Bada bing, bada boom. We've got one room left. Now this one, if you saw my escape room ideas video, you may know that I like pushing blocks around, pushing stuff around on ice in a linear pattern and trying to get through the puzzle. So I did one with armor stands and sticky pistons or slime blocks on sticky pistons that would push the armor stand around in that video that I made. And then, this is a concept that's been in Chip's Challenge, Kickle's Cubicle, and if you've never heard of either of those, Pokemon a lot of times has like a cave or something where you've got to slide around or push a boulder around. So I've always really thought those were cool. Here we've got our fishing rod, so you come in and it's pretty obvious you're going to use one of those, so that's the tool. And when you step here, that opens, and you simply need to figure out that you can do this. So this sort of teaches the player what they need to do. Why is this not working? Am I too close? Yeah. And they're going to put it here. Then coming over here, stepping on this, reveals this. So obviously just push it through, pull it through. The design of this went through some doing to hopefully make it work. But hopefully this first part here teaches them the concept, and then it gets a little easier, and there's a little more freedom as it goes along, just to say, like, here, how do we do it? So originally, this puzzle was completely open, like from one side of the room to the other, but the problem was that the player would want to just drag it across the room, and it was really frustrating, and it wasn't fun. It missed the puzzle aspect of it, and it was just a task rather than a puzzle. Whereas in this case, how do we do it? And if the player engages in the puzzle the right way, then they're going to have a little more fun than if they just try to brute force it the unfun way. So that's why I have these walls of ice here, and they have to stand in the right spot, and the thing has to be in the right spot for them to pull it through. So hopefully that kind of forces them to do it the more fun, puzzly way. This part, they could try to brute force it if they want, but the right way, hopefully they realize, the whole block pulling thing by this point. The one big complaint I have that I can't really fix is that fishing poles, if you're too close, it won't do it. You have to be a little further away. It's kind of annoying. But that's what you get. And then the player needs to grab this, pull it against this wall. And part of that is, initially a player said, I didn't know I could use the walls in a previous iteration of this. So I put these here, so it's like, you don't really have any choice but to pull it back. So hopefully that makes it clear to them. I do have this little spot here, so you can stand here and pull it all the way to the wall. And I have a trap door there because the armor stand won't slide into that spot, but you can easily walk in here. Like, you may not even notice that you're backing up onto an armor stand. Then from here, come here. There's this block here, bada bing. You come here. This is the goal for the thing, is to press this pressure plate. If the player falls in, there's a ladder to get back out. If they step here, that ice in front of it opens. You can see that. Come here, buddy. As soon as that falls down in there, hopefully this is in your view and you can see that this opened up and you can grab the lantern. So that's how that puzzle works. And this one was a real struggle. The first iteration didn't work at all, wasn't fun. So I was really proud that I finally got that working. Anyway. You get that cool little jingle and it opens up and you get to move on through. So this part is just an idea. I'm going to have like a poem book or whatever, like an epic poem. You'll have clues. You'll have to get through here. So it'll be a big maze. You'll have to make some pit stops, follow the instructions. It'll be like a riddle, basically. But it'll be this huge, you know, in a boat. You'll be going through and trying to do the things. And eventually, you'll get to this ladder. You'll climb up here. There'll be more maze stuff. And eventually, it will lead to here. And this is just a little miniature castle. It's sort of the destination of your little thing. And along the way, you will have picked up breadcrumbs because you're following the trail of the first soldier. And so then I'll have this set up so you have to put in breadcrumbs. You have to put in the right amount. Right now I can put literally anything in here and it opens up this nice little drawbridge sort of thing. So like this, I don't believe that a player can jump that. It's like just too much. Like that, honestly, I felt like I was going to be able to do it, but of course you saw me fail at the parkour earlier, so I don't know why I think I could do this. And if you're good enough at parkour that you can get this without, you know, needing to put in the breadcrumbs, you know, have at it, you know. I'll reward the player for being amazing. That's fine. But anyway, if you put something in here, this opens up, then you walk across, bada bing, bada boom, come down here. This is that room I showed before. You turn this on. And, you know, you solve the puzzle so that you can get through here. But I've shown that before, so let me go out here and discuss this next part here. So if I go up into the castle, boop. So we've been working on it. You know, I showed like some of this stuff off before, but when the player comes up here, I don't want them to have full access to the entire castle. So some of the rooms are going to be locked off. So I had to change out these wooden doors for iron doors, which aesthetically is not as pretty, but it's just, you know, you got to do what you got to do. So basically what's going on is the player will, when they first come up here, they'll have access to the barracks, which is here, and this hall, and they can go out into the courtyard, and some of the doors will be open, some out there will be locked, and there's kind of phases. So once they do a certain thing, it'll unlock the next set of rooms, which will be the bakehouse / servants' quarters and the kitchen, but they won't be able to get into the great hall or the courtyard. And then they'll be able to get into the courtyard, and they'll be able to get in the great hall, and blah blah blah. It'll progress like that. So the way that I set that up, by the way, I'm glad there's no roof here and that there's going to be a cellar here, because this is a really easy way to get up and down. So yeah, this is directly under the door. Each of these redstone torches is under a door somewhere, and this is under a set of double doors, and they're color coded based on, you know, what phase and everything. So first red would open, and then, you know, green and so on. So it's pretty trivial to do this. You just put the block here with the redstone torch. That block has the door directly on top of it. So the door is, I think I showed that before when I was putting that door down. But I have it so when it's powered, it's closed. and then if you were to power this line, then it would open the door. So here's the part you need to mess with. That's a little confusing. The white is debug mode so that we can have all the doors open and go through and do whatever. But if we flip this, then it's in play mode. And so now this is what it would actually look like when they're playing. So this redstone torch is what's keeping... Oh, no. Actually, Sorry, I lied. When the redstone torch is off, the door is closed. And then when it turns on, it opens the door. So when this redstone torch is on, both of the doors on the green circuit are closed. And you would have, whatever puzzle or anything. I don't have that all figured out yet. But, yeah, there's a lever they flip or whatever. And then that just feeds into here. So when they flip that, it'll open those doors. And that's the basic idea of it. And all of this white debug mode, all it does is it just turns off all of those. So we're just, kind of pretending that all of them are done. Player has access to all the stuff. Like I said, just so we can easily get around the castle as we work on it. So, yeah, debug mode. I think that's all I have to show you right now. But I'll continue working on it. Let me know if you have any questions or if you need more details. I'm not sure how much I've explained before or how much people may want to know how some of these things I talked about today work, especially like a piston feed tape. Not sure if you're familiar with that or not. But yeah, just let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.